What's up, everybody? It's AJ, and I'm back with another reaction. Let's get into it.
Tonight, Denver 7's Colette Bordelon has obtained that video.
And she's looking into the legal roadblocks that delayed its release and why some say the system needs to change.
This is video Denver 7 obtained of a police chase from May 6th of 2025 in Wheat Ridge.
Keep your hands down! Your ball in your head!
For about 10 seconds,
What'd I do?
an officer holds a gun to the man's head.
Man,
Imagine your life is not worth
first off, I want to give a shout out to Abaya. Go check out We the People. He used to be an officer, so he has some knowledge on way things are ran and some of the practices that are supposed to happen and some of the things that are taught and some of the things that aren't taught. So check him out.
more than a laptop. You know, some laptops can be pretty expensive, I guess, but you can get a laptop for $200 or $300, you know. But imagine a cop holding a gun to your head because he believed you stole a laptop. Not he believed you aggressively assaulted, nearly killed someone, but he thought you stole something. And then imagine it turns out you're not even the person.
New at 6, questions over account.
That's crazy. It's crazy. You see how he was yelling at him? These videos, you got to think about this. You got to think about all the times you're just out minding your business and you're not doing anything wrong. You're where you're supposed to be, doing something you're allowed to do. And then think about if a bunch of police officers jumped on you and started telling you that you needed to do anything. They're not giving you any information. They got guns drawn. How would you feel? What would be running through your head? Because I know me personally, I would be confused.
After body camera video showing a Wheat Ridge police officer holding a gun to a man's head during a chase was not made public for more than a year. Tonight, Denver 7's Colette Bordelon has obtained that video.
And she's looking into the legal roadblocks that delayed its release and why some say the system needs to change.
This is video Denver 7 obtained of a police chase from May 6th of 2025 in Wheat Ridge.
Keep your hands down! Your ball in your head!
For about 10 seconds,
What'd I do?
an officer holds a gun to the man's head, who's already on the ground.
So as I said, imagine you're not even the guy they're looking for. You're simply walking down the street. The cops come and jump over a fence, throw you on the ground, put a gun to your head, and tell you they're going to put an effing bullet in your head.
In your
the only
head.
thing you can do is ask, what did I do? That's this guy's life right now.
The materials themselves are jarring.
But why are we seeing this more than a year later?
Set it back down there. He already in cuffs.
And so they seal it, which means that it doesn't exist anymore.
This is Andrew Friele. He's an investigative journalist and the founder of a nonprofit organization called Blue Surveillance. He fought for months to get his hands on this body camera video.
You matched the description of a male that apparently stole a laptop.
When you saw it, what was your reaction?
It was indeed as bad as it sounded. It's the sort of thing I think people need to see. People should be able to see.
The video shows Officer Carlos Bodre holding the gun. He had worked with the...
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want people to see it? Is it because you're gonna keep Buddy on the force? Is it because you're gonna keep the people around that's doing it? Because if you were having cameras for transparency, then when you saw things like this, you would do what you do with transparency, address the problem. But I guess since you hit it, you didn't want to address the problem.
Ridge Police Department since the summer of 2023. A quick check of Bodre's peace officer standards and training status shows he was fired in August of 2025 and that he voluntarily relinquished his certification in March of this year. That's what sparked Friele's interest in this case.
One of the first documents that I got from Wheat Ridge was his disciplinary memorandum, which is basically saying why he got terminated. And the department was looking into it because they said that that was not okay.
The department launched an investigation into Bodre's actions at the end of May in 2025, and he was placed on leave. This use of force report obtained by Denver 7 shows that an academy coordinator, quote, knows for certain that Officer Bodre was never taught to place a gun to a subject's head during an arrest. The Wheat Ridge Police Chief, Chris Murtha, reviewed the investigation and found that
He learned that from all the cop shows he ever watched. That's where it seems like he got his training from. That's what they do in the movies.
His conduct was unacceptable and said the district attorney's office decided not to prosecute the case in large part due to Bodre's actions.
I requested the body cam footage. They said there was no responsive records, which doesn't make sense.
But we don't know where
because
that's at.
By law, they had to have still been retaining the record because of they're allowed to get rid of it after a certain amount of time, but we were still in that time frame.
Fraile says he figured out the man who was chased had his case sealed.
It is a relatively common request now. And, I think that the purpose behind it is to give folks a fresh start.
Defense attorney Eric Faddis sat down with us to discuss how sealed cases work when it comes to law enforcement records.
On the one hand, the record sealing laws require law enforcement to say no public criminal records exist with respect to this case. On the other hand, the Enhancing Law Enforcement Integrity Act requires disclosure of some of those very same materials, including body cam.
So it looks like y'all got a little conundrum you're in, huh? With your own rules.
Evidence.
Chief Murtha sent us this statement addressing questions that have been raised regarding the communication with the public about this incident and explaining that Colorado law requires the release of certain internal affairs records, while other state laws require agencies to protect the legal rights and privacy of people involved in certain circumstances. The chief continues to say the termination of the officer reflects their commitment to accountability, while their efforts to comply with conflicting legal requirements reflect their commitment to fairness, the rule of law, and the protection of individual rights.
Now, there is something about this video that's even more disturbing than the cop putting the gun to this man's head. You may be like, well, what could be more disturbing than that?
Yeah, break it down.
Well, the thing that's more disturbing than this cop placing the gun to this man's head is this. After a chase, let's say his adrenaline is running, he's not thinking.
Is he got
he
his
does
finger on the
dumbest
trigger?
thing that you can possibly do. He places a gun, which is criminal, in my opinion. He places a gun to the guy's head. All right. Once he removes the gun away, okay, he's being handcuffed.
He throws
He's
it
not
back down
resisting.
there.
He's not fighting. Nothing else is happening. He's compliant at this point. The cop places the gun back on his head,
Like
for
on
a
the
second
movies.
time.
That's how they do it on
Find
TV.
something terribly wrong with that? Of course, I find something terribly wrong with all of it. But the second
If he wanted to put a bullet in, he wanted to put one in his head. That's what he told him. And I keep telling you, he saw it on TV. That's where he got his training from.
time pressing a barrel of a gun on an individual's head that's not fighting, not running, not resisting, not moving, but actually going into handcuffs. The first time was the world's dumbest thing. I don't know what the second time, I don't even have a name for the second time. You had time to think at this point. He pulls the gun back, places it on his head.
He didn't have time to think because his adrenaline was dumping. He was thinking about all the movies he watched.
And if you ask me, this is the type of cop that wants to shoot someone.
Yep.
He wanted this guy to give him a reason. Flinch, move,
Blink.
do something to give me a reason to pull this trigger. Thank God this guy did not move, because I don't think this video will be covered in the way that we're covering it right now. It would have been a completely different story that we would be
100%.
talking about.
And having a firearm put onto the subject.
Investigators also looked at training, and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office told them contact shots are only taught in extreme deadly force situations.
When the subject's hands are visible, he's on the ground and overall seems to be complying at that point. There's not an act of resistance.
He was ready to double tapping.
It's hard to articulate and justify escalating the use of force.
Got the thin blue line.
Police Chief Chris Murtha
Gang, gang.
called the conduct, quote,
Do you gang bang?
saying it was well below the standards expected of an officer. An online publication called Blue Surveillance pressured the department to release the video and records. The department says it had to balance transparency laws with privacy requirements before releasing records. The Jefferson County District Attorney's Office did review the incident but did not file any criminal charges against Bodre. He later relinquished his Colorado law enforcement certification.
So what I'm confused about is why the district attorney's office failed or refused to press charges. This was clearly criminal. All right. At least at the very minimum, the police chief fired this guy. but this guy should be charged. That was criminal, in my opinion. Why would you not press charges? If it's anyone else within Jefferson County, they're going to prison. There's no
Oh,
questions, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
oh, most definitely. But he probably knows somebody that knows somebody, and they're gonna play golf this week. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna cover all the drinks and cigars. We'll make it all happen.
If it's anyone else, they're going to prison. But because it's a police officer in a state, Colorado, where there's no such thing as qualified immunity anymore, why were charges not brought against this cop? I would question that. I do question that. I hope everyone is questioning this. Not only did you put a gun to the guy's head, you put the gun to the guy's head twice. Even if the first time somehow was justified magically, what about the second time? Are you telling me?
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, go check out We the People You. Get you some more of that information from somebody who know what they talking about, not just giving their opinion. Because if you saw the other video I watched, the guy said if you learned the stuff on YouTube, you don't know anything. So maybe you can't listen to anybody. Nobody knows anything. Sure, let's go with that. But drop a like, leave a comment,